actually, it fits in very well with the message of the family of Jacob, which is that there are those who enter into this realm, the angels that enter into this realm, that know that in human form they have a predisposition to learning their lessons better from without, for they have spent many journeys along this earthly tier, and they've been quite stubborn, and the lessons that they've graduated to have all come through perceptions of without. They learned the truth from knowing the void, and so they enter into this realm with a predisposition to learn from without. And those are akin to our scientific community. If you understand the progress and technologies of the scientific approach, then you realize that this is a rubric that is set up for individuals that cannot experience phenomenon intimately. So they must develop rubrics through which to analyze and create deductions from a lack of intimacy. From, instead of getting in contact with the force, you study the effects of the force. And that is why there is constantly so many revisions in technologies and sciences and hypotheses that throw people off for vast ranges of time, because in this process you're never connecting with the force itself, you're merely deducing the phenomenon based on cause and effect. You're never intimately connected with it. So if you zero in on an explanation, that explanation is not certain. That explanation is your best explanation based on the suspects that are available to you. But if you do not perceive the correct suspect, if your mind hasn't expanded to such a great phenomenon, then you will create a science that is incomplete and is lacking continuity and harmony. And so much of our progress in modern societies is predicated on our ability to understand from without. And we develop systems of limiting individuals from their creativity in order to be vastly productive, for we only weigh the material and the tangible. So the individual who was a craftsman and an artisan is no longer a craftsman and an artisan. They have their little cubicle where they repeat the same task all day, and it deadens them in their spirit, for they do not express their innate spirit and song through their work. And so they are in bondage in this realm. And so many are in bondage in this way that they spend the majority of their time doing tasks that do not reflect their inner song. And this is all part of the Great Awakening, for the individual can no longer be satisfied as expressing their passion and their song through the work that has deprived of them. And increasingly in society, all aspects are beginning to become deprived in them. So you find individuals in impoverished places around the world that have a higher ratio of happiness and a higher ratio of enjoyment in life than many successful individuals in the epicenter of the Western world. For the rubric is incomplete. In truth, eternity flows from within. And the ancients knew what they knew through intimacy from within. For each individual is the center of the world. There is a portal of energy in the heart chakra, in the empathic portal within, that is a center of the world. It is a point of where the world starts and ends, and each individual is the center. Each individual has that power. As you connect to all within, it's interdimensional. You are everywhere and nowhere at the same time, and all flow through you. And they gleaned intimate knowledge, and the knowledge that was imparted to them was very, very sophisticated, but they only had a rubric and a language to understand just a peripheral of it, and with that they achieved great things in their time. But it is time for us to awaken to the futility of our deconstruction, where we educate our children, where we deprive them of their joy, of their song, where we do not customize our approaches to the song of the individual and their passion. And we set in this bondage and this oppression from generation to generation as a heritage, as something you inherit from your society and from your parents. But this is not the way of all source. And there is a great awakening happening now, because as the globalization and outsourcing all increase exponentially, there's a great cry for the way of within, for these have been lost for some time, and it is causing tremors along our civilizations. And we will meet in the middle. For those who are in the void of without, they are languishing in bondage and depression, and they realize that they've banished themselves to such a degree, such harshness, such wickedness, that they inflict upon themselves through their learnt helplessness. And they shall grow, for they have no other way. It is clear to them that they must embrace lovingly all that is within. For they've learnt so clearly from the void and darkness that this is the only way of knowledge. And so we have a deep thirst to reconnect with the ways of old. But it is a more nuanced way, for we now have technologies that have manifested in our realm that enable us to better comprehend and digest and navigate these ancient wisdoms. For all sorts have sent forth concepts like satellites and networks and interconnectivities and all sorts of technologies in order to help create analogies for the networks of all that is, so that we can better filter this, and our technologies will aid us in our ability to help reunite with these lofty ways of unity and harmony with all that is. And so we must broadcast with our heart and with our soul and with the gaze of our eyes. We wrap each individual in grace and glory of their higher self and awaken them to the song that is resonating within them, but they have long become deaf to its music. And so we wrap them in the glow of their glory so they can once again taste freedom just for a moment, so they can awaken and realize that they've been slumbering. And there is so much more to them than meets the eye. And there is a vast array of legions of co-creators who await them with open arms to embrace them for their journey and help reconnect to complete their mandate and mission to create balance and harmony in this realm, to rejoin and reconnect with the ancients, to bring in alignment past, present, and the future, so that we can ascend to the higher frequencies of all source and reconnect in the great song and harmonic convergence, the expansive embrace, and the true love story.